We're recording. Hi! Are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to
Hello.
Reading Books with Friends, the podcast. I'm Butter. I forgot my fake name for a second.
I'm Sage.
And I'm Red. Did we do the Millennial Pause, by the way? I'm pretty sure we did.
What's the Millennial Pause?
Yeah, what is the Millennial Pause?
Am I cooler than you guys now, officially?
Probably not.
Maybe.
You probably just are more aware of the lame things that you do.
So as millennials, when we hit record, we wait a second and then we start doing something. Whereas I guess Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they start doing stuff as soon as they hit the record button.
Oh, wow. That made
And
me
it's
feel
known as
really
the
old.
Millennial Pause.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels really bad. That feels bad. Okay.
How are they
Wow.
ready to go? You have to press the button and okay, that's just gonna make it
Yeah.
sound older.
Wow. Thanks, Red.
The other thing that we do that's really lame is gifts
I like
gifts
that.
are lame. Did you know
Gifts
that?
are lame.
GIFs
Okay.
are lame. If you use a GIF like in
Mm.
when you're texting or whatever, it's like old man shit.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It made me really
I'm
sad
learning
when
a
I found
lot.
that
I'm
out.
learning a lot. Okay. Cool.
I love gifts. I'm not going to
Yeah.
stop doing it.
Same. Yeah. Okay. Man, sad face.
Yeah, ask your son.
Yeah, I will.
I bet you he's gonna be like, yeah, GIFs are fucking super lame.
He doesn't even use text messages. They
What,
communicate
Snapchat?
on Snapchat.
Yeah, that's what I found out.
He communicates on text message with his mom and I and his like grandparents. That's it.
Yeah.
Like they don't text each other. Or they rarely text each other. Usually when Snapchat is for some reason unavailable.
Yeah. I found that out that people, when they like get each other's numbers, they don't get each other's numbers, they get each other's snaps.
Snaps. Yeah, I know. Horrible.
Why?
Oh.
I don't know. I've asked a lot, like, because we Keeks met someone when she was taking classes who's younger, he's 21. And so he like just went through college, and he said in college it's like creepy and weird to give out your number because I guess it feels too like it's like giving someone your social security number. Like it's
What?
like
So to me it actually kind of makes sense because like once someone has your number, they'll always, that's your number, you're not going to change it.
Right.
Whereas then you can block them or delete them on Snap pretty easily, or delete your Snap and just create a new one.
Yep.
Right. Like it's not as big of a deal for you to do that than it is for you to literally get a different phone number.
Yeah.
So
I guess that
think
makes sense.
maybe.
But like
Maybe.
It was very weird. Like when I first heard it, I was like, what do you mean? Like you just get someone's number and it's like, oh, just make a group text. And it was like, we could do that. Or like, I don't even have Snapchat anymore.
Yeah,
I do not have the app on my phone.
Can you group text in Snapchat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Wow.
that I could inspire this like old
Yeah,
person
yeah.
that we just went on.
Yeah. Well,
Reading Books with Friends, the podcast.
I think Butter and I are older than you, Red, right? Or no?
I think we're all
Barely.
very close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all very close, but I think we're older.
Well,
I think
Szage is
so.
the youngest, I think.
Oh, am I? Oh.
You're younger than me. And I think that Red is.
Barely.
Are you the youngest, Red?
I might be. Yeah, I think by like
I
a
think
month.
she is.
Yeah,
Yes.
Red just turned 19. And
Yeah.
so the rest of us I'm 23 and Szage is 12.
Well, I'll say actually, Butter, that doesn't make sense because I'm actually 25.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Everyone
No, that's
believes
right.
that.
Yeah.
What book are we talking about today? Guys?
We're talking about Bastion by Phil Tucker.
He was one of my favorite authors. He is one of my favorite authors.
All right, so I have a lot of questions. So what else has he written besides this series? When you say he's one of your favorite authors?
Yeah, so he's written a number of series that I kind of liked some of his earlier series. So Chronicles of the Blackgate are that's one of his earlier series, and then the other one is like this. Oh, God, I can't remember the name of the series, but it's basically about these like demigods, and it's very like almost like Egyptian myth type, like based off of Egyptian myth and folklore. And so I actually I really like that series too. But I like them. I wasn't like oh man, I am a huge fan of this guy now. Then he wrote a series called Dawn of the Void, which is like a lit RPG post-apocalyptic series, and I absolutely loved it. I really thought it was very well done, very succinct, and I actually followed him on Patreon, and that's how I read it there. I know that he talked about some of the difficulties that he had with that series, but I really liked it regardless. And then he came out with Bastion, which, I mean, I'll give it away because it was my pick. Awesome. Such an awesome book. Gave very Cradle-like vibes, even though it's a totally different type of story and totally different type of I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that it's like a knockoff of Cradle. It's not. It has nothing to do, anyway, it's just like that badass of a story, right? And then he is currently writing another series called Throne Hunters, which it was originally called Thrones of the Fallen, which I think was a much better name for the series. But
what is it called? Throne Hunters?
Throne Hunters is what it's called now, but it was called Thrones of the Fallen, which is a way cooler, more badass name and more appropriate for the series, I think. But whatever, it's okay, it's fine.
All
so
right. And so this guy Phil Tucker, I didn't realize he'd written this much. I thought this was like he wrote this series.
No. He's a very experienced author.
Yeah, I'm looking. He's written a lot of shit. Okay, and so this series, Bastion's the first book of what the series is called, the Immortal Great Souls series.
Yep.
Yes.
And there are 4 books out so far.
3.
3. Okay, how many books are there going to be, do we think?
He posted on Reddit after the 3rd book came out that he was planning on doing 4 to 6 more. So that would be 7 to 9 books total.
Oh, okay. That's exciting because, we don't even have to, we were saying this before we started recording. We don't have to pretend with this thing. Like, this book's fucking awesome. We all really like this book. I want to read the next book now.
Yeah.
So there's only 3 out, you're saying?
Yeah.
And
the 4th one should be out soon, though.
And did this book come out recently, or has it been around for a while? Like Szage, you found this book first, and then you told Red to read it, and then you said, I hadn't read it, and then it's like, okay, they'll reread it for book club because they read books super fast and I read slow. So it looks like this came out October 30th, 2021. When did you come across it?
October 30th, 2021.
Oh, okay. So you and you knew you're waiting for this book.
I knew this author beforehand, right? Because he had written Dawn of the Void before he had either before or during he had written Bastion. He had already started writing Dawn of the Void, and so I was actively reading that series from him. And then he had mentioned on his Patreon, "Oh, I'm coming out with this new series, Bastion," and I was like, awesome!" And it was awesome. I really loved it. So
we'll get to. So you say how do you say that? Patreon.
Yeah. So you can
it's Patreon.
Basically
it's definitely Patreon, right?
We've corrected him.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware it's Patreon, right?
Yeah. So
it's a very interesting way to choose to pronounce it, Patreon.
That is interesting. It is interesting. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's any particular reason why that would be chosen to say it that way.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But
butter.
I was talking about I was talking about Patreon yesterday on stream actually, and the reason of this comes up is because I don't really know anything about Patreon other than that people on YouTube are like, join my Patreon if you want exclusive content. And so it came up and someone said, I just thought it was the funniest thing. They said, "Oh, it's kind of like OnlyFans."
Yeah.
Except for not well, okay, so explain what that means to me, because you both agreed with that.
Yeah, you're subscribing to a person for content, right? And now
they said it's OnlyFans, not with naked pictures, right?
Yeah, well, most commonly for like creative outlets, right? So YouTube publishing videos and stuff. But for me, I mean, I just follow a ton of authors on there.
That's
And
so funny.
you
That's
know,
so funny that you both
you get
instantly
chapters
agreed
ahead
with
of time.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I hadn't
because
thought
I
of
mean,
it that way.
I haven't.
But
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. I hadn't thought of it that way either.
Huh.
But that it makes total sense. Yeah,
All right.
it's a subscription to a person for content.
All right.
So.
Make a Patreon. Okay, wrote that down.
Yeah, there you go.
And then the next thing, I know we're going all over the place, but the next thing I wanted to bring up is about the audiobook concept, right? Because we keep bringing this up. Until, 2 books ago, I didn't listen to audiobooks, and then Red was like, you should try audiobooks. You might really like it. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I just got told that I'm screaming, and that, okay, thank you. I was told that I'm so loud that my roommate can't hear the TV. So for audiobooks, I wasn't really into audiobooks, and then Red told me to try it out. And now I'm exclusively doing audiobooks. And the other thing I said is they had already read the books and they read it way faster than me. And I basically said, man, I need a little bit more time. And so the options were actually read the book or speed up the audiobook. Yeah, I didn't do that. I had it at one time speed. But today, when I was trying to finish the book, man, that's a really good idea to just speed it up, because this guy for the audiobook talks really, really slowly. And so I actually, finishing this book today, went to 2.5 times speed, and it was still fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really fast. Okay.
And so,
Yeah.
Long story short, I know that was a long like thing to say. I think I can listen to books faster now, because I literally was reading, to give you an idea, I had 4 hours left of this book, and it took me about an hour because I did 2.5. So, and I think this book, when I started, I think it was 40 hours of listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a really long audiobook.
Yeah.
in the series of the audiobooks, the first one is the worst. I mean, not to say that anything is bad. We already established all three of us love this book. The first third of the book is quite slow, and there's a lot of exposition. And like my one issue with Phil Tucker is that he does have a little Brandon Sanderson-esque side to him of lots of detail and lots of exposition. And I'm like, all right, get on with it already. Like, I don't care how many alcoves are in this fucking ballroom.
He does talk about alcoves a lot. He does.
Yes.
And,
That's true.
And then I noticed the language sometimes when he's describing the action scenes. It's like, buddy, you just said this. Like, you just said this. You said it in the previous room. You don't need to say it in every room. I get it. I get what his powers are. Like, we don't need to just repeat the same thing over and over again. But besides that,
yes.
So I gotta say, one thing that I really like about Phil Tucker is his naming. Like, he just is so good at coming up with like really cool, like badass names and titles and stuff like that. I love all the different titles of the characters in the book. I just think that's like such a badass part of the book, and the series overall is just like it's a really cool thing. Like, even just the names of the ranks.
It
and
took
like
me a while to remember what the rank like structure was, to the point where I think I pulled up the written book and like looked at it to try and memorize it, so that when he would mention a Pyre Lord, I didn't have to try and remember like where does that fall. I'm curious, Butter, since this is your first time reading it, did you have that same issue?
Yes, but also what I did is I listened to Cinder, Emberling, and Tombspark, and then everything else was just like way higher. So whenever they used a word, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a really high rank. I know that's not the best, but that was my solution. I was like, okay, it's super strong Pyre Lord, and then Imperator's at the top. So it's like, okay, the other people are not as strong as the Imperator. And then I kind of just like started to figure it out as time went on.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't remember how they brought up the ranking, if they did it like all at once. But I was just like, whatever, I'll figure this out later.
I don't know. Actually, there was a point where they did it all at once, when they were exploring the old academy. And so that's where you hear it all in sequence. But at various points in the book, they do point to different parts of the progression, which I think was really nice. So yeah,
I have the list here that we can go over at some point, but the names are very, very cool. Let's I guess just talk about, like, we don't have to go full crazy synopsis of everything because it's a long book, And I don't even mean necessarily that it's long like pages. It's like a lot of shit happens in this book. Like I felt like this book could have been two books very easily.
Yeah.
I think it could have, but the first book wouldn't have been that good.
Right.
Wouldn't have been as good.
After ending the book, totally get why he put all this in one book, because that ending was so fucking awesome. Yeah. Oh my god. So like it's similar to Cradle in a lot of ways, because it's guy who I don't want to say is out on his luck, because it's different. Guy who's not that strong, despite all odds, becomes super badass strong, right? But I think what I like more about this book compared to Cradle, not saying I like one more than the other, but I'm saying the character of Lyndon in Cradle and the character of Scorio in this book is Scorio kind of just seems to really enjoy rubbing it in people's faces. And I feel like Lyndon is like a little more
humble.
Yeah.
He's humble. But I think that's what I love about this book and this series in general.
Oh yeah.
Is that it's like every single great soul is used to being the most important person in the room, right?
Yeah.
Like they're all like that, because they are all legendary heroes or villains or whatever. And so, you just they have this history that they kind of know about, but not really. And so they're all just like these ambitious, power hungry, like they're fucking badasses, and they know it, right? These are not normal average people. They are all exceptional, right? Well, and it just so happens that some of them are even more exceptional than others.
Right. So let's try, for people who may have not read the book, to give a somewhat succinct summary of like what this book's about.
Yes.
So these people, I'm going to butcher the words. Is it Altera? Is that where they came from or whatever?
Atera.
Yeah. So at some point, these people decided collectively to leave Atera in order to fight against Hell, in order to protect the people in Atera. And so they are now have basically made this pilgrimage to defend their homeland in order to protect them from Hell. And as a result, there are these people who are great souls who, in order to fight against the legions of Hell, they are constantly reborn after they die, because the power they acquire when they're alive goes to the Great Spire thing.
Archspire.
And then they use that as a beacon of their power in order to fight against the legions of Hell. And it, the whole concept of this world is based around the idea that, we need to defend the great souls because they do this and they serve this purpose. But it seems like there's something fishy about everything that's going on. And that's kind of like the general gist of like this world. And so the main focus is on these great souls, who are these heroes that are reborn and trained to become powerful. But there's like other people that exist too that just aren't special in this in this scenario.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, just to fill in any gaps, a quick coverage was that basically over 1,000 years ago, the forces of Hell had been invading this world, Atera, and this is all legend at this point. No one can actually verify any facts. No one actually knows the real reason why they're there necessarily.
Yeah,
this is just stories, oral stories, and some written down that have been passed down through history. They came through a portal. This huge, thousands, tens of thousands of heroes and villains, exceptionally powerful, magical, legendary people came through this portal, along with a bunch of support. They founded this city called Bastion around the portal that they used to get into Hell, to take the fight into Hell, right? And there are layers of Hell, and then the hell that is mentioned here is not the hell like Christian Judaism Hell, right? It's not an angels and demons thing, at least so far. It's just like, basically like another world with multiple layers to it. And there are fiends. They're not called demons, they're called fiends, which are the natural residents of this hell. And then the great souls, they bound their essence to the Archspire, which exists in Bastion, And again, like Butter said, it leads to their reincarnation. If they die, they can get stronger within hell, and the ultimate goal, supposedly, is to force their way to the last layer of hell and conquer it. And the last layer of hell is called the true pit.
I think the one thing that we're missing in our summary is that when they are reincarnated, they remember nothing except
right.
for their names.
Mhm.
And so the one part of the book I don't
and they're reincarnated as full capable adults,
right,
in peak physical condition, but they have none of their original powers and they have none of their original memories, but they can function. They know they know that this is a building, this is a rock, this is a table. It's not complete amnesia. It's just they don't remember anything about the previous life. Sorry.
The part of the book that I kind of struggled with, even though it makes sense and it should be this way based on all of that context, is that they are adults who act like teenagers. In particular, Scorio has like a temper that he is unable to control, and he says like really stupid shit all the time that gets him in a lot of trouble. And then he's like, oh man, I shouldn't have fucking said that. And it's like, what are you, like 13 years old? And but really, when you think about it, our judgment as adults about behavior is from experience and memory. So if you are
Damn
reborn,
it, that's what I was gonna bring up, and you already answered your own thing.
Right. Like I know the logic behind it, but the whole time I'm reading Scorio's perspective and he does something stupid again, and I'm like, you're such a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I that's the exact reason for it. And it makes total sense, right? They do not have the wisdom of experience. And then you contrast them to imperators, right? And so the thing about the last rank, the last power up that you get is that you when you become an imperator, you remember all of your past lives and you gain access to your full memories. And so, the one imperator that we run into seemed to be a very wizened, in control person.
There were two. There were two. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, the two. Technically, but
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
So can you say that again? So as an imperator, when you become an imperator, you have access to all of your past memories. That's a fact in the book.
From every life that you've lived on hell.
Yeah. And so I assume there's some gating factor because otherwise they would know for sure. Sorry. Last thing is that the portal to Atera used to open and close all the time to give supplies and news from back home, but it has been closed for hundreds and hundreds of years and no one knows why. And there's no way to open the portal from this side.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about all those things, but I have to be careful because you both have read all three books so far.
That's correct.
Yeah. So again, we come to a place where they know the things.
Moderating our answers. I remember where the first book ended and what you should and shouldn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go refill my water though. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about the port. Like, throughout the book and especially at the end, there's a lot of, okay, well, what's the truth and what's not, right? And so I'm wondering how many of the things you just stated we have more information about. And so as well as you can say it without like spoiling it, did the portal in fact close? I shouldn't say that way. Why did the portal close? Like, do you understand the reasoning behind it? Was it just happened because it takes a lot of time to do it? Were the people here in Bastion, were they abandoned by Atera because of something that was done? These are questions I have about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say necessarily. I guess as the books goes on, I think Phil Tucker does a really good job with world building in general. I mean, the world that he's building and the descriptions are really fascinating, very unique. You do learn the answers to some mysteries, but then you also are led to more mysteries and more things that, basically the general gist is something is very wrong.
Yeah.
Something is very wrong. Something is not. There are obviously conflicting interests, and there are very it is not a straightforward answer to any of the questions that you have at any point in the first book. And so and basically at least the next two books that are out right now sort of dive deeper into some of those mysteries, not as deep into others, but again, you're led to more mysteries. And it's like, okay, so the answer to this mystery is probably the answer to this mystery as well, but we haven't gotten there. So
can I tell you something about this book that
Mhm.
I'm being completely honest, that probably didn't affect you guys because you read much faster than me? Beginning of the book, super boring, did not like it, was not interested. So the book starts, you just start in the gauntlet, right? It's just like,
Yes.
hey,
That's
you're in
right.
the gauntlet. And
Yeah.
so
he wakes up, he has no idea what's going on, but he goes into the gauntlet with 3 other people.
And so the gauntlet is basically every time you're resurrected as a great soul, you start in the gauntlet. And the gauntlet is different stages, or I guess there's different doors. And after, or rooms, I guess. I don't know. There's a room,
Levels,
and then you do something,
levels, yeah.
and then
Rooms,
you go to the
levels.
next one. And eventually at some point you will die. And your progress in this first run as someone who has no memories determines kind of your ability to it determines what you get in the academy at the start, right? Because you get a rank
Yes.
essentially, and it determines whether you get more
Resources,
not prizes, but
support.
resources, and whether you're selected by houses. So it very much determines a lot of what happens at the beginning of your new resurrected life when you have no memories and no powers.
Yep.
It's important because that gauntlet is what you do again at the end of your first year in the academy, again to determine how you will progress. And I think it was said that at the end of the year, the bottom 50% of all the people in the gauntlet runs based on their rank, they are kicked out of the academy, and they have to go to the Raskor Plains? Is that what they do? Or they like...
I think that's where most of them end up, is at like guards at the next level of hell.
Yeah, so the school basically is like, all right, you're kicked out. Figure it out. You're on your own. And then the top 50%, get resources and continue through school. So this gauntlet run's really important because it determines how you're going to progress in this world.
But they don't know that it's important.
Right. They literally just start there, know nothing about it, and see people dying. When I first picked up the book and started reading this, I thought this was hell. I thought they were stuck in hell. And I don't know if that's what you're supposed to think, or if I just did that because I read a sentence off the back of the book and it said hell, and I was like, oh, okay, they're in hell. And then after they die, they wake up. But the point is you get introduced to Scorio, the main character, and you get introduced to some other people who become his friends later on in the story. But for me, the gauntlet stuff was like, I don't know if I just didn't like the way it was written, or I just didn't think it was like interesting. Did you guys like the gauntlet stuff where you're like, oh, this is really cool?
I liked the gauntlet. And I liked the whole, they came out of the gauntlet and everything is revealed to them. And then after that point is when I got bored for his whole saga, basically until he starts training again.
Yeah. So Szage, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. I actually liked the gauntlet. I thought it was a great action scene to sort of start you out. There's real danger there, and it's like, oh, and you have no idea what's going on. It sort of deepens the mystery, but it also lets you know that they are meant to be combat capable right off the bat. Right? They're meant to have brutal instincts of and killer instincts. Right? At one point they described, they beat a childlike fiend to death. They have to beat them to death with their bare hands, right? And they do it. They do it, right? No questions asked. They get it done. And so I thought it was a cool scene. And then I also, again, I really loved the reveal of like, oh, it's the gauntlet. And then you get to the names, right? And it's like, oh, step forward heroes. And they, in the ranking of how far you got, you get identified by this machine. And it basically tells you who you were in your past or original life. And what your titles were and who you were, and then you get to know who Scorio originally was, and it's pretty badass. So
I love that part too, where they get their ranks and determine what they are. I think for me, what it probably was looking back is I think the audiobook being as slow as it was made the first Gauntlet drag on forever. And I think for me, doing mostly audiobook, not mostly, all audiobook, the action sequences seem drawn out because the guy speaks so slowly, the narrator speaks so slowly, whereas the dialogue really, really carried through. I love the what's his name? Praximar, the leader of the school. His voice in the audiobook is perfect. It is just like condescending douchebag, like he nails it.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so we get to the point where after the Gauntlet, Scorio actually does pretty well. He's like 23rd in the class, and I think it's what the class is like 800 people or something like that. And so you go up to the machine, and it tells you when you were last, like what it tells you how many times you died, when you were last resurrected, and like what your titles were.
Yeah. How many times you died? Yeah, when you were last resurrected, what your titles were, and then he obviously mentions, things like if he knows. So, for example, Jova Spike, he recognizes her name and talks a little bit about her last life.
Well, Praximar does. The Archspire.
Praximar does. The Archspire does not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually want to look up Scorio's titles.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Oh, you have it? Oh, yeah. Can you say what his titles are? I think they're so awesome.
No, it's awesome. It's like, welcome Scorio, once known as the Scourer, Lord of Nagaron, Master of the Black Tower, the Bringer of Ash and Darkness, the Shadow of Spurn Harbor, the Abhorred, Quencher of Hope, and Unmaker of Joy. I just think that's like such a cool thing. Yeah,
really cool. And then you find out that Scorio's died way fewer times than most people, right? He's only died 8 times when most people have died dozens, or might have been more than that. Hundreds.
Yeah. So they were saying like one of the ones that the person that ranked the highest in that particular gauntlet was this woman called Jova Spike. And so they mentioned, okay, she was at one point in one of her past lives, she was an Imperator. In her last life, she was a Carnal Duke or Duchess.
Wait, she was an Imperator?
Yes, her highest.
Oh, I missed that.
Your highest achieved rank was Imperator.
Oh, that's badass. Okay, I missed that.
Yeah, and it's like awesome, right? But I love all their titles. So she was the Queen of the Crimson Coast, the Enduring, the Sovereign Light, the Avenger of the Lost Veil. And it's like they all have really cool titles. And then like the next guy comes up, and I think his is like the Wise, King of the Jandites, Breaker of Shackles, Destroyer of Idols, and Bringer of Light. I just think it's they all have really cool names. So,
yeah, you have a really good point. Phil Tucker writes really good titles.
Yeah. I just think it's really awesome. So it's a really cool part of the book. But
Scorio gets brought up to this thing, and they say all the titles, and then immediately they go, seize him, he's a red lister. And you don't know what that is, but it's bad. And so they take him and they put him in a prison for a second, and then there's like the final door where they open it up, they kick him through it, and he's just like in darkness, exiled from the world.
Yeah, well, and really quickly, 2 things. On for the previous great souls that they talk about, it's like, oh, it's been 6 years since you last died, and Jova Spike died last year, or something like that, and and so forth, and you've been reborn 171 times, 150 times, and so forth. Scorio, you last died 236 years ago, and you have only died. You've been reborn 6 times at the Archspire, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so it's not just like a little difference. It's like it's a huge difference, vast difference.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what was going on 236 years ago. So
thank you for bringing that up. I forgot, but that is really, really important. And I think they also mentioned, I don't know if they mentioned this like super specifically or it's generally, I think there's something to the amount of time it takes you to resurrect has something to do with like the spire retrieving power from your past self.
They make a reference that only the strongest of great souls can resist the call of the Archspire.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So okay. That's very different than what I said. So, sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, only the strongest great souls can resist the call of the Archspire, as in, like, only a really powerful soul could delay being reincarnated.
That's
Yeah.
very cool, and it fits so well with Scorio's character, right? Uh, that is probably my favorite thing about this book is how Scorio, at least in my opinion, I feel like Scorio's character is very consistent, and it's very much stubborn. Don't fuck with
Yes.
me. I will always win. I am always gonna work harder. Like it made me like there were parts where I read this book and then I went to the gym because I was like, Scorio, badass dude, like just like working his ass off.
Yeah.
So that totally fits his character. So he's saying, no, I'm not gonna come back. Nope. I'm resisting
Yeah.
this fire.
Right. Right.
Anything else
Love it.
from that part before he gets kicked through the door? Just because there's a lot of book left.
Nope. No, I mean, and I think we can really just skip through most of the next part.
Yeah. This is the part that we all hated.
Yeah.
Hated this part. I think I texted Red and I was like, this book sucks. He's been underground trying to crawl to the surface for 700. It's not that long. It probably was actually like, it probably wasn't even 100 pages. It was probably like 50 or something, but it was just slow. So he gets kicked through the final door and he can't see anything and he crawls through and there's monsters. And then he finds some people who were also red listers who have been there for like 5 years. And once a month or something, this door opens and fiends come out. So they come up with this plan where they're like, we're going to use pulleys to hold the door open, and everyone dies except for Scorio, and they crawl through. I mean, what else? There's also, they talk about a guy who was a great soul who was there for a little bit of time. Scorio finds his dead body outside the door. He gets the chalk and the rod.
And the bridge.
On the bridge.
And then we can continue the fast forward, right? Then he gets out eventually.
Yeah.
Is there anything else important in that? I think that's it.
No. He survives in the city for a little bit. He like makes some friends with some like bardic type people. He trades them this really expensive gem that he found underground for them helping him like minorly, right? So they gypped him.
Yeah.
And then how did he end up meeting the Nightmare Lady?
So then he does the deal with what's her name, Jova or something.
Farron.
Who's the person that's like
Dola.
He basically is like, I need money, and so this person who's like in the underbelly of the city is like, okay, if you go on this heist, I guess they're trying to steal from one of the 4 houses. If you go on this heist, then we'll help you out. Heist goes poorly, but Scorio manages to get the prize, which is these things of blue sapphire aura mana. Thank you. Words aren't working good today. Sapphire mana, and rather than giving it to Dola, he says, "Fuck this! I'm just gonna keep it for myself." Realizing that Dola's probably gonna like try and ruin his life, trying to come after him, but he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And then he goes to the ruins, right?
That's right. So then he goes, hides in the ruins.
Red's frozen.
Red's frozen. He hides in the ruins, and then eventually finds, or the Nightmare Lady, right, who was sort of referenced a little earlier in the book, saying, "Oh, there's a Nightmare Lady that haunts the ruins. She's a fiend," and you come to find out that she's actually she's a great soul.
So why is this happening? This is amazing.
2 frozens.
Can you keep that up, please? It's happened again.
We're gonna have like multiple reds. I don't know how to handle this situation.
Just leave them.
We're just gonna keep getting pushed to the margins as there's multiple reds.
Wait, did you just exit out of that, or did she?
Red did, yeah. So Red said that they're restarting. So I'm just going to.
Okay.
We'll just do that for a second while Red restarts. But I was gonna say we can just go on with the summary. So then Nightmare Lady finds him, and turns out the Nightmare Lady is also a great soul, specifically of the rank of Emberling.
Okay,
And
so maybe this is where we should talk about some of the ranks. Do you have that list in
yeah,
front of you?
I know them, so
Okay, yeah. Just go through,
yeah,
because at this point, the lowest
yeah,
rank is Char. He's still
yeah.
a Char. He's not
He's
even.
still a char at this. Well, yeah. So he's considered a char, right? So great souls are all reborn as chars, meaning they have no powers and they have not, quote unquote, ignited what their the base of their powers, which is called their igneous heart. And so,
Oh, I have a question.
so yeah,
Before Scorio got like sent into the final door, Praximar like did something to him. What
That's
did he
right.
do specifically?
So every great soul has a remnant of power within their heart, and Praximar drains it, drains every last bit of mana and power that because Scorio, the Archspire, assigns a certain amount of power to each great soul as they're reborn, a remnant of their past life. And so Praximar basically drains it from him and gutters his heart completely. And so it's basically just dead. And then
Is that thing Scorio specific, or is it just like every great soul has like
every great soul
remnant?
has a remnant of power within them? Yeah, every great soul has a remnant of power within them.
Does it
And
get
so Praximar's
restored?
like-
This is me fast forwarding, but it's also me asking questions. Does this get restored when the Imperator guy is like, "Let me restore you to your previous self"?
Oh no, but Scorio recovers well before that already, right? Because then he starts to push mana back into his heart. His just mana,
so
his
it
heart
just
was completely dead. Yeah,
So it just makes it easier to
that's
progress.
correct. To progress and ignite and so forth. Yeah.
Okay. So he's a Char. So Chars suck. They can't do
Yeah,
anything.
he's a char. They suck. When they start to ignite, they become cinders.
Mhm.
And then when their heart deepens and they learn how to ignite it when it's full, when they learn how to saturate their hearts, they become emberlings.
Mhm.
And then when they go from emberlings, I believe the next rank
Tomb
is
Spark.
Tomb Sparks. That's right.
I know that because of the ending.
And when you become a Tomb Spark, I think that's when. So when they sort of progress higher in the rankings, they get visions of their past life, not their past lives in hell, but their original lives in Eterra.
Thank you. You answered that question for me too.
Yes. So those scenes that happens, that's Scorio's original life in Eterra. That was who shaped him into who he was going to, eventually became to be. And then so you go from Tomb Spark to Flame Vault. And then and I'm not going to tell you the process for that, but then you go from Flame Vault to Dreadblaze, and then you go Dreadblaze to Pyre Lord to Blood Baron to Carnal Duchess, and Carnal Duchess to Crimson Earler, and then Crimson Earl to Imperator.
Nice job.
And actually, they all correspond to different. So the deeper you get in hell, the higher quality the mana is.
Welcome back.
And so.
Red. We're just talking ranks.
Yeah, welcome back, Red. Yeah, we're just talking ranks and mana. And so the lowest quality of mana in hell is coal mana, which is like very rough, hard on your heart, and it's really hard to grow with that. And Scorio overcomes some of those disadvantages. And then I think it goes coal,
Copper, iron,
bronze,
silver,
gold, sapphire,
emerald.
I'm gonna pull up a chart here on stream. I have it here. It is coal, copper, iron, bronze, silver, gold, emerald, sapphire, ruby, diamond, numenon.
That's right. Ruby, diamond, and numenon. Yeah. And numenon only comes from the pit in the deepest layer of hell.
Yeah. This thing won't
so so mana corresponds to basically where you are in hell. And so even though they're in Bastion, that's like the Bastion is located on the Raskar Plains, which is the lowest level of hell, or highest level, depending on which way. The highest level is actually
the least deep.
The correct answer. The least deep layer.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool description. How the city is basically a cylinder in the ground, leading towards the portal at the bottom. But gravity works so that no matter where you are around in the cylinder, your feet are downwards. So
yeah. I started playing Donkey Kong Bonanza yesterday. It's actually very similar to that.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding.
Nice.
I know you think I'm kidding, but that's like
nice.
Literally
nice.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna cover my face here where I have this. The one thing I'll say about this chart that's also interesting that we haven't quite gotten to yet, but you kind of talked about is at different stages you're given a choice. Or let me say that differently. At different stages, you're given a trial where you have to make a choice, and it gives you a glimpse of your, you said your original life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your original life.
I just
On
really
Terra.
like how it says this here.
Yeah, on a Terra, yeah.
But we'll get to that. So, anyways, the whole reason we went through that, besides stalling, is because Scorio meets the lady, the scary
Nightmare lady.
the nightmare
You
lady.
find out, yeah, she's a great soul named Naomi, but she is a natural born great soul, meaning she was born in Bastion, and her soul is not tied to the Archspire,
Which
and
is a big
she
deal.
is like which is a big deal, right? Unheard of in hell, and but she's looked down upon by the other great souls because she has no great past deeds, no past life, no nothing. And when she ascends in the ranks, she isn't shown a vision of her past. She just ascends, and then that's it. And so,
Which is super interesting.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that when they. I mean, if that makes sense.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But anyways,
she has no titles. She has no titles, no nothing. Just she's just Naomi, the Nightmare Lady.
So she's an Emberling, and Scorio is a Cinder. Or, I'm sorry, a Char, not even
He's
a Cinder.
Char.
And so the difference in these ranks is like pretty much like a mosquito versus like like the differences in these ranks are enough where going up one you can pretty much almost crush. Or do you think it's not that vast?
No, it's pretty vast, and it gets larger the higher up in ranks you go.
Yeah, the bigger the gap is, the higher you go.
Yeah, barring some, so it's conceivable that a Cinder could fight an Emberling. But
yes and no. So I agree that the gap is bigger, but also I think like Tomb Spark has a better chance of defending themselves from a flame vault than a Char has of defending themselves from a Cinder, because like a Char has literally nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
So like going from Char to Cinder is huge, and from Cinder to Emberling is huge, because Emberling is the rank where you first manifest some special ability.
Yeah, it's almost like we should consider Char like 0. It's like it shouldn't even be a rank. It's just like
that's right.
You got nothing. And then Cinder is like, okay, now you can do something. But the point is that Scorio is 2 levels below the Nightmare Lady. And then the Nightmare Lady tries to kill him. And he uses the chalk to get out of it, right?
He strikes a deal with her, saying, "Hey, if you, you stole all this stuff from me and so forth, which you can because you're really strong. But if I defeat you in a week, just agree to train me for a week." And she's just laughingly says yes. She's bitter and angry, and she's the Nightmare Lady. And he does it using a clever use of this chalk, which creates invisible walls. And he basically defeats her using his wits, and then she trains him, and he becomes a Cinder. There's a bunch of
montage.
I feel like we
can just
skip over.
montage it. It's just he trains and gets stronger, and
he basically damages his long-term prospects rushing for power because he's using coal mana to ignite, and he's taking basically coal mana poison in order to try and catch up to the great souls that are in the academy. Okay, so fast forward to that, he finally meets up with.
Hold on. I want to bring up one point because it's kind of crazy now that I think about it. When you read it, that's pretty wild that he like beat her as a Char, like, or not beat her, but you know what I mean, like
tricked her.
Because now when I'm thinking about that as later context in the book comparing ranks, it's like, wow, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
He gets very lucky. She's overconfident, but he does it. Yeah.
Okay, so then montage, he levels up, he becomes Cinder.
He levels up, becomes a Cinder, goes through a bunch of different things, reconnects with Lianchi and
Leonis, who love Leonis, by the way. We love Leonis.
Yes. Those two, like coming into the book is when I really started to like it, because for me, one of the things the book lacks is like levity, some like lightness, some humor, some fun, and Leonis in particular is that.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark
Yeah.
until he reconnects with his friends.
Yeah.
100%.
And Leonis is I think his title, he's like the Golden King, wielder of Nazar, whatever. He's a famous great soul in his own right, but his highest rank was only Higher Lord, whereas in Scorio's highest rank is a rank above that. And Lianxi also, I think she was also, her highest rank was Blood Baroness, or no, I think hers was Carnal. Was it Blood Baron or Carnal Duchess?
Oh, was it Crimson Countess?
Oh, maybe it was Crimson Countess. Yeah, you're right. Which is one below Imperator.
Yeah.
So anyway, he finds these two friends. They reconnect. All this good stuff happens. They go to the. So Bastion is crumbling, and its decay is accelerating over time. And they, even though Bastion has been around for 1,000 years, they think that the city has less than 10 years left. Which, I think that means like all these people, like tens of thousands of people, just die. I'm pretty sure.
It's gonna like fall into hell, right? I mean,
well, because they can't exist further in hell. There's something called the curse. The deeper you go into hell, the atmosphere is more difficult for you to deal with depending on your level. So you need to be an Emberling in order to go out onto the Rasker Plains without dealing with the curse of hell. And it basically addles your mind, makes you paranoid,
makes you crazy,
right?
Yeah,
right. And then and so so anyway, so you learn there's like 10 years left. There was the original academy, and all the important buildings were built around the portal, and the decay is happening from the portal outwards. So if you imagine the top of Bastion where it connects with the Raskor Plains, that's the edge of the city, and the very bottom of Bastion is the portal itself. And so the decay starts at the very bottom and it's moving upwards. And the original important buildings around the portal, like the old academy and stuff, are still there. Scorio realizes this. He goes there with Leonis, Lianxi, and Naomi, and he realizes there's a gauntlet there that they can use. And it's like a broken gauntlet. So even though their wounds don't transfer over, there's like this psychic pain that happens.
So if they get their leg cut off when they pop back, they feel the pain of having their leg cut off.
Pain of having their leg cut off. And so it takes a while to recover, but Scorio, he's like, I can deal with pain, and then he goes and uses it to train, which is awesome. However, they're down there using this thing right next to the portal, and something flickers on the portal, and that's when Imogen the Woe, basically in the deepest level of hell, or one of the deepest levels of hell, realizes this.
No, show everyone.
And so that's when you learn about the Empyrean prophecy. Oh,
hold on one second.
what are we looking at?
They can't see because the green screen.
Yeah,
Make it
it
go
just
No, it
looks like a
doesn't work.
bookshelf.
Make it go away.
No, it doesn't work. Anyways,
What is it?
What are we looking at?
Kirsten is getting really good at designing nails. I don't know.
Keeks.
Oh yeah, Keeks. Whoops.
Okay.
She doesn't care. But yeah, Keeks is getting really good at designing nails, and so you can't see it because of the green screen. Can I turn off my green screen?
Yeah.
Sure.
You can keep talking.
Was saying
You're about to get to the best part of the book, there's a lot of good parts, but this is probably my favorite part of the book.
So
Imogen
you
the
learn,
Woe.
yeah. Well, okay. So first you learn about the Empyrean prophecy, which was this quote unquote prophecy that the Great Souls sort of told the people of Bastion, where there was going to be a great push into the true pit, and they were going to conquer the pit of hell in the deepest layer. All the currently living imperators. Oh,
Still
nice.
can't really tell. Oh, you can actually.
Yeah, you can see it. Nice.
Oh, some of the colors aren't quite going through, but she's getting really good at it.
I mean, they look professional.
Yeah,
she's
it
getting
looks like a tab that they show you at the nail salon, right?
Yeah, she's getting like real good at it.
And I just have to show somebody because my family doesn't answer my messages.
Okay.
Oh,
well, what'd be great is
I got you.
if you wanted to, you could take part in this if you read the book.
You told me I wasn't allowed.
All right, love you. That's not what I said. I said we don't want to read the books that you want to read.
You said nobody wants to read anything that you read.
All right, this is our private time.
I thought
Bye.
I thought that Keeks would like the game at Carousel, by the way. That was one of the books that I recommended to her. And
yeah, I thought so
never read
too.
it.
And she was just like, because at this point she's just being defiant.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, so you learn about the Empyrean prophecy, which is where all the imperators are going to push into and conquer the deepest pit of hell, and they would all be released and go back through the portal into Atera as the conquering heroes. So the Imperators go, and their counterparts in the pit are the true fiends, which are basically the fiend levels of the Imperators. And the Imperators get wrecked, basically. You find out that they get wrecked, and 3 of them fall. And what that means is they didn't actually get killed. You can temporarily burn through your igneous heart for additional power. And that's
a
what
bad
Imogen
idea.
the Woe.
Don't do that.
Imogen the Woe, who was one of the Imperators, burned through her igneous heart in order to save other Imperators. And apparently there are 2 other Imperators that did the same thing. And this allowed the other 6 Imperators to escape the pit and escape the true fiends. But when you burn through your igneous heart, you basically lose your moral compass, and you have no ability to tell between right and wrong. You have no, you basically lose your sense of self. It fractures your mind, and you do not have, you have no drive to conquer hell. All great souls are basically driven by this sort of drive, unspoken drive to conquer hell, and all of that goes away. And so one of the mysteries is that if she burned through her igneous heart, how does she still have powers? And that's one of the things that you don't know. You get a chapter from
you as in me, or you as in
as the
everyone?
reader. Yeah. You do get a chapter from Imogen's perspective, and she talks about how she sweeps mana into her lacuna, and you don't know what that is. And it's never, they don't say anything about it and anything like that. And so Imogen detects basically she's in her own domain. You don't know what that means either. And she has the ability to sort of like kill people and raise them as undead, essentially undead spirits. Or she takes over their minds, and so she's like in her puppet realm, just like dwelling on her losses and things like that. Senses this portal.
What a
flicker.
weird way to say that.
I mean, that's basically what it is, right? I think
Yes.
It's very like mental illness.
Yeah.
Extremely, yeah. Her mind is clearly fractured, and so she rips down the barriers that she herself made to keep her in her domain. Goes back into hell, immediately drains all mana in the given area, killing everything in sight, and then beelines it down to Bastion. And so
I just want to pause. I think it was very cool how it was written, because it's written as an interlude with Imogen.
Yes.
And when I was reading, I was like, okay, this seems important, but like, what the hell? And then immediately it goes to Scorio, and it's like, oh shit, this is like, and you continue now. That's all I want to say.
And so it's implicated that Scorio and his friends, by using this original gauntlet, something drew Imogen's attention.
Mhm.
And so she's beelining it towards hell, and it's described as like this massive cloud of darkness, right, with a woman in front.
Right.
And it's just speeding along along hell, and she's going at like Mach speeds. And so they see her, the scouts in Bastion see her on the Rasker Plains just coming, and they're like, oh shit. Right. And everyone knows who she is. She is a famous great soul in hell. And they're like, oh my God, that's Imogen the Woe.
Yeah, and it's like alarm bells, like everyone's like, holy shit, panic, like, oh my God, this is
the academy, all the houses mobilize, and they can't do anything because she's an Imperator. And she goes there, and Praxmar's there with other people, and he's like, oh, Imogen, we had no idea you were coming. What can we do for you? Please, let me help you.
But we know this because Scorio, Leontia, and Naomi were all going to the old academy to train, and that's when Imogen showed up. And like idiots, they were like, we have to hide, so we're gonna keep going in the direction that she's going instead of turning left or right to change directions. Nope, we're just gonna and they end up in the same place that Imogen goes.
Yeah, because the gauntlet is right next to the portal, and so Imogen is going to inspect the portal. She sees that it's not opened, goes and tries to find the disturbance, and then finds the 4 of them because she can instantly tell where everyone is in Bastion because she's that powerful. And then Praxmar goes to her along with some compatriots and says, hey, what can we do for you? And she's like, nothing, get the fuck out of my face. In the audiobook, like, absolutely.
They paint him so well as this smarmy salesman who's just like, oh, Imogen, welcome. Yes, we will have a feast for you. Come celebrate with us. And Imogen's just like you said, she's like, fuck that.
No, she's like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, okay. Cool. And then he grabs Scorio and Leonci, Leonis, and Naomi and pulls them back to the academy.
And so,
but then
sorry,
while he's-
Proximar
sorry.
is Pyre Lord. What rank is he?
He is a Pyre Lord at the academy, but he's known for being a very weak Pyre Lord.
Right. And so just to go over the ranks again, right? She's Imperator, he's a Pyre Lord, then there's Blood Baron, Charnel Duke, Crimson Earl, Imperator. So he's like, I thought when I was reading that, I was like, dude, this guy has some moxie to be walking up to. Like, I would be terrified. I would not be talking to.
Yeah. So I mean, it's given, you're given the impression that like a Crimson Earl, which is one rank below an Imperator, could not fight an Imperator.
Right.
You know, multiple Crimson Earls probably could not fight an Imperator. And so she's there, Praxmar's there, and they're calling for reinforcements deeper in hell. And people are sort of teleporting in desperately, like, you know, oh my God, I mean, there's nothing we can really do. But
it's like all hands on deck.
Yeah,
like
all hands on deck. So stronger Pyre Lords are reaching out to their counterparts deeper in hell. And finally, the White Queen, who is a Carnal Duchess, shows up along with her compatriots who are Pyre Lords and Blood Barons.
Just so you know, because you didn't listen to the audiobook, they pronounce it Charnel.
Oh, Charnel Duke. I'm sorry, Charnel Duke. And so they so she goes and confronts Imogen. Imogen has now decided that she is just going to shatter the portal from her side, and open it forcibly.
Yeah, what does she think she's doing?
She's draining mana from the Archspire first.
That's right.
And then she's going to force the portal open because she wants to go back to Atera.
Yeah, because she thinks that might fix her problems.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any possibility that's happening, or do you think she's just crazy?
She's just crazy.
Okay. So you don't think?
And so, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's any chance that she could. I mean, you know, common wisdom says this one, and so eventually what happens is the Imogen is causing untold destruction across Bastion. Tens of thousands of people are dying, or you know, whatever. Her aura is
happen until the other guy shows up.
I thought
I will pause.
It was before.
I will pause just because one of the things that Scorio did that I really, really like about him is he's like, I think everyone's on deck trying to just stall until another Imperator gets there. And so all these super powerful people are like using all their magic, and it's just like, she just like, you know, moves it out of the way. It's like dusting flies out of her face. Yeah. And then she uses her power that like, she takes everyone under her control. I didn't exactly understand what that power was, but she uses this black mist or something.
Yep. Yeah. And if it touches you, she controls you.
Right. And so Scorio escaped it because he went into the gauntlet.
Yes.
And then comes back out. He's not under her control. And then he just tries to like, he's like, there's no one else is here. I have to do something. So he just starts talking to her.
Yeah. She's about to kill the White Queen.
Yeah.
So the White Queen has fought her with her compatriots. The White Queen is trying to talk with her as well.
Right.
You know, other people are attempting to talk with her. She just doesn't care. And she's, you know, and she's like, she is aware of who the White Queen is, but she's still going to kill her.
Yeah.
And so
they're just grasping at straws.
They're grasping at straws. Yeah. She's wrecking all of them without even trying. And Scorio is very smart. He dives into the gauntlet in order to escape her mist, or controlling mist, pops out, sees her there, and tries talking with her. And lo and behold, she recognizes him from his previous lives.
So cool.
So you're and her previous life. And so you're given to expect that at some point she was a companion of Scorio and they traveled through hell together. You know, presumably when he was around a Blood Baron rank, or, you know, some higher rank, right? Some deeper rank. They, you know, she alludes to different things where like, oh, you helped me crush this rebellion and you helped us do this.
And then you betrayed this person.
Yeah. And just when we were bending the knee to this person, you know, you betrayed them at the last second. And she loved it. She loved it, which I thought was like really awesome. I was like, oh yeah. And then so he's like, oh, cool. Yeah, Imogen. I don't remember any of that, but I figure you must be lonely. And when you saw from her perspective, one thing that is very clear is that she is incredibly, incredibly lonely because she sacrificed her Igneous heart. None of the other Imperators, including her husband, will talk to her anymore because she's insane and she's basically a fiend at this point. And so he says, "Oh, you must be incredibly lonely." And she's like, "Yes, okay, you can stay with me to the end." And she basically continues fighting with him by her side, just sort of like not worrying about anything else. But as he's talking to her, the other Imperator shows up.
Which he is Soul, right?
Yeah.
Soul the Just, which turns out is her
Husband.
was her husband.
Well, I don't think they got a divorce. I think he just was like, well, you're kind of like evil and crazy now, so I can't really
I really liked that he did that he like made it a shattered married couple, and then their reunion was like really fraught with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't need to be there. It could have just been some other Imperator who like
Right.
came to put her down.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he made it even more interesting because like, oh, this is her husband, but he is not crazy and she is crazy and she wants to get back together with him, but he's like, nah, bitch, you're crazy.
Yeah, and
But
they did make her sound like desperate, right? Like she was like clawing for like companionship.
That's
and
right.
he was just, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
And it was very compelling.
And he is also, he's not like cold about it. He is like also really torn up.
Correct.
He feels he is like devastated by the fact that this is what she has become. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to open the portal from this side." And he's like, that won't work, and you're just going to kill everyone. The previous you would know that this is terrible,
right?
But you can't
She's
tell.
Like, they've been feeding us lies. We don't know that that's what would happen. Work with me.
Right. And he's like, "No, I can't do that." And then she's like, "Well, I'm going to do it anyways." And he's like, "Please do not make me." He's begging her, "Please do not make me do this. Do not make me fight you." And Scorio is just standing there right next to her, right? Like Scorio's there. Soul also recognizes.
Well, she's like, this is the part. She's like holding him. Like, is that what's happening? Because she like flies around with him. Is she like?
She's supported by Shadow. Okay, so one thing about her is that her thing is like shadows and darkness and mist, and so
the shadow mist is holding him or something.
She warps reality around her. So like buildings are like growing like dark spires and monstrosities, and everything is mutating around her, right? Including the very streets, the buildings, people, everything. And so she's just holding him next to her, not holding him physically, but I think that he's just standing on this cloud of darkness with her.
See, that makes a lot more sense. In my mind, it was like he was like in her little kangaroo pouch while this was all going on. He's just like, wow, this is crazy, huh?
I think they say that he's standing on darkness.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
And then basically Soul has to fight her, and it's a badass fight, right? So Soul somehow has this spear of light, and he can multiply himself hundreds of times over, but she is Imogen. And I actually thought that was a really cool thing where she says, "I've always been stronger than you."
Yes.
And she fucking wrecks him, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, and even though he's another Imperator, she's got Scorio, who is a Char or a Cinder, standing next to her. She's protecting him from everything that Soul is doing. So while she is fighting this other Imperator, she's just got a bystander that she's like sort of carrying around. Yeah. Like it ain't no thing, right? Like she's just she's
trying to piss Soul off by now. This is when she goes after the city. So she like leaves the old academy. She goes out into the city and starts attacking people and doing all of her like crazy mutation stuff and making people commit suicide and like all of this awful
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah, like the dark mist is hitting people and they're like jumping off buildings and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
And I really like how part of the sales pitch that Scorio did is kind of saying like, "Oh, I understand how you feel," and she's like, "Now you want to be a part of this? You'll witness all of this destruction. Like you can see everything I'm about to do."
Yeah.
And then something happens, and I'm curious what you guys think
Well,
about
yeah.
what
So,
happens.
well, they talk about different powers that these people have. So they have something called the ferula.
Yes.
You don't know what that is, but you assume it's a weapon. So she has a scepter and Soul has a spear,
Yeah.
and they're firing massive energy blasts at each other that could level the city. And then they talk about they have shrouds. So they talk about that. And they talk about something called preeminence, which you don't know what that is at this point. But Imogen
I
is.
assume you can like see the future
you
or
can-
something, right?
That's not.
Is that not what preeminence means? Let me look up what preeminence means. I believe
No,
you.
no, no! Don't look up what preeminence means
Oh.
because you find out what preeminence means later
No, I mean just like the word.
in the
I just
third
want
book.
the word and
Yeah.
oh, it just means superiority.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, so they talk about establishing preeminence. You don't know what that is. Imogen and Soul basically end up in this duel, almost like a Harry Potter duel where one
Harry
is firing.
Potter.
Yeah, one is firing a beam at one. One's firing at the other, and Imogen is winning, and clearly winning. She's having a casual conversation at times with Scorio while she's fighting Soul, and but as during this final part of the battle, she's like laser focused on Soul. She's pushing all of her power through this thing, and she is about to kill him, basically, or overwhelm him, which would amount to the same thing. And at that moment, Scorio, who is again just standing right next to her, ignites his heart and punches her weapon, punches her scepter,
The ferula, the farula.
the ferula,
Yeah.
and she's shocked for like a split second. She's like, "What the fuck?" Like I think she probably forgot that he was there, but
Right.
she also is shocked and betrayed. You remember her mind is totally fractured at this point, right? So she's not herself, and that was one thing that they pointed out way earlier. I think that the White Queen mentioned where her biggest weakness at this point is not her power. She is more powerful than she ever was, but it's her mind, right? She is not with it. And so that's how we can attack her. And so Scorio
I hear
punches
you on
her.
that. Did you
Yeah.
interpret that as like her greatest weakness is a lack of like focus? Like she doesn't have like she's easily distracted. Like the way you
Yes.
said it just now, she's easily distracted.
I
Easily
took it as
distracted,
like
forgets things.
emotionally unstable.
And that too. Yeah, I take it as all of that is what
Okay.
I
Okay.
take it as. Yeah.
Because you're getting to my point in the story where, depending on how you look at it, this event, this action by Scorio could be seen as very silly, in my opinion. And that's why I want to ask what you think. Like, do you think this is like good writing and this makes sense? Or is this kind of like Deus Ex Machina and
The
kind of
one
silly?
thing that I didn't like that he punched her
Yeah.
wand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would have.
like punch her in the face.
Yeah, I would
right?
have thought
Like,
punch her in the face too. I also would have thought that.
Well, but still, he's a cinder. What
I
is
get
punching
it.
her in the face going to do?
But he doesn't really, at this point, he is so ignorant. He doesn't really understand the difference between the greater ranks in hell, right? Like the White Queen is
He's
as
not
far
an
above
idiot,
him as.
though.
No,
But,
but he's gonna die anyways, right? So at this point,
what
he's
do you
like,
punching
fuck.
her wand is gonna do.
Okay, so the only reason that I was able to justify this as okay is I interpreted it as she felt betrayed.
Yes,
like she
that's
was
right.
she was stunned. Like, how dare you?
But that's
Yes.
not what he was going for, right? Like he was
No.
trying to knock her wand out of the like wand fight that's happening. And to
Yes,
me, that was
that's
a
right.
ridiculous choice versus like punch her in the face.
But
try
I think that was like, I can either die doing nothing,
Right.
or I
do
can
something.
die doing something,
Which
and I
seems,
might as well.
seems
and
very
I think-
Scorio to me.
I think in his mind, right? Yeah, exactly. It's very Scorio. He's got a temper. He's very impulsive.
Yeah.
And in his mind, he's like, okay, so she's an imperator. She's basically invincible. So let me just try and just like, hit her wand. Maybe I can knock it out of her hand or something, right? Not understanding that that's a stupid, terrible idea.
Right.
So what you find out is that the wand doesn't move an inch, right? Like nothing actually happens. It has no physical effect. But in the split second that she is distracted and she's shocked by his betrayal because she thinks that Scorio is on her side, Soul overwhelms her and establishes preeminence,
right?
Which you don't know what that is, but he basically overwhelms her, and she is, for whatever reason, you don't know why, she's unable to fight back, or she thinks she's unable to fight back.
Do you know what preeminence is in the later books?
You learn what preeminence is in the third book.
Okay, obviously you guys know, and I don't because I haven't read it, but I'm just speaking, and you don't have to answer. It sounds very much to me like some of the stuff in Will Light's Cradle series. That's like I don't remember what it was. Was it Will is what they have, or what are the things in Will White where it's like
Yeah. Your
Sage powers.
Sage willpower. Yeah, your
yeah.
willpower.
It sounds knowing nothing. It sounds like that kind of stuff, and maybe it's
I
not.
do think they.
It's actually something very specific, but
I think in the second book they like give you a little bit more information about it. Like establishing dominion, I think is brought up because of the White Queen, right?
Right, that's right.
Without saying anything.
Yeah.
So he loves Phil Tucker loves to do that, where like he feeds you pieces of information.
Yeah, but I like that. I love contextual clues in a book. I just think that that's a really cool way. And so basically, Soul overwhelms Imogen, and Imogen flees, and Soul thinks about going after her, and then is like, no, I guess not. And then he tries to repair, and oh, that's what happens. Scorio pulls in some of the mana that it was emitting from Imogen.
He drank the coal poison that he had.
Oh, is that what he also did?
Is that why? So I thought he did something where it was like, you're gonna die. Like you.
Yes, that's correct.
He drank like 40 doses of poison of coal mana.
That's right.
And
that's
so
right. It's true.
And that's why, and so that's why he was gonna die.
Yeah, and he was gonna die. His heart is completely fractured, and Soul also recognizes Scorio and is like, "Oh, you were my former companion in hell." And he's like, "Yeah, I know exactly who you are." And he's like, "You helped me defeat Imogen," and he instantly repairs his heart. Right. So I take it like as almost like a from Cradle, like North Strider, where they can sort of reverse wounds and injuries and things like that. And so that's what he does to Scorio. And he basically mentions, "Oh, I've got deeper concerns in hell." But the White Queen goes up to him, and she's I guess a subordinate of his or something like that, because she's the one who called him from deeper in hell, and he came. And so and he's like, "Hey,
they had something. They have like it's not alarms, but I think it was like light the they had some type of like
a beacon.
Yeah.
But the beacon is what got the White Queen's attention. It's not what got Soul's attention.
Oh, I didn't realize
the
that.
White Queen reached out to Soul and said, "Hey, can you come and help?" And so Soul and Soul did. And then he's like, "Hey, I've got deeper concerns. Every minute that I'm here, my holdings deeper in hell, my allies deeper in hell suffer because I'm not there to protect them."
Which makes sense and is super cool.
Yeah, which makes sense. Is super cool. But he tells the White Queen, he's like, "Hey, Scorio's a red lister, but he's better off being in the academy. I know him. He's a troublemaker, but he's a good guy overall." Basically, I'm summing that up, but he says that to the White Queen. And he's like, "Do me a favor and just get him in the academy. Just make sure it's done." And then, and Scorio, this is when Scorio talks to him, and this is when he reveals that Imperators have memories of all their former lives. That's how they are able to recognize Scorio, and that basically Imperators can do whatever the fuck they want, and everyone is going to do what an Imperator says because they're a fucking Imperator.
It's like getting a letter from a god.
Yeah,
like
basically.
That says like,
that's right.
"Hey,
that's
let
right.
him into the academy because I said so."
That's right. Yeah,
and,
exactly. And so and so he tells the White Queen, "Hey, do me a favor, make this happen." And then Scorio says, "Hey, can you get Naomi in too?" And he says, "I'll talk to her, and if I'm okay with it, then fine." And then he leaves. The White Queen goes, takes Scorio to Praxmar. Praxmar assumes wrongly that he's a red lister, and he, because previously, like an hour before this, he was about to kill Scorio for being in the way. And the White Queen is like, actually, Soul
not only
wanted
that,
me
accusing him for being the reason why this happened.
That right.
Which may or may not
probably
be true.
Was.
Yeah, which it probably was. But I love how it's phrased, where the White Queen tells Praxmar, like,
hold on 1 second, guys. What's up?
Remember that restaurant that we went to in London, Gymkhana? It's 2 Michelin starred. The Aria at Las Vegas.
I don't know
just bought
if
it.
Butter
Like,
cool.
knows that
Aria.
we're able
cool.
to hear this.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to show you these, honestly.
Your nails? They look very nice.
Glazed donut.
Yeah, definitely doesn't realize.
Thank you.
Yeah. we can hear everything. You know that, right? So
No, I know. I didn't say anything bad.
okay. All right. No, I'm just making sure you're aware. But
No, it's
no.
fine.
Yeah, but I love how the White Queen tells Praximar, she's like, "Oh, Sol wanted me to thank you for readmitting Scorio to the Academy, by the way," and just like, and he's just like forced to make this mental adjustment where it's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then that's it.
It's so awesome.
He eats it, right? Like, and it's like the assumption, and I love how the White Queen knows what she's doing. She's smiling as she's saying it, where she's like, yeah, so you could say no to the Imperator, but we all know that you're not going to, and then that's it. And then she's like, "Oh, I have to go back to the Fiery Shoals, which is another location." And they're referencing all these cool locations in hell. Cool. Now, Scoria's in the Academy. By the way,
Pause.
We are halfway through the book.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm happy to continue going. I think we are halfway through the book. And I think the other part of this takes about this long. This is why I said maybe we should consider doing it in two parts. So I'm just telling you, I'm good to go. But this is a pause to consider. Do we want to do part 1, part 2? I'm thinking of people with bedtimes.
I just think I think that most of the next parts. I mean, like to me, it's really all about the
so
world building.
much.
I know.
And I love it, and I love talking about in this detail. I'm just saying, I'm reading the room. I'm not reading the room. I'm asking the question of how are we feeling?
I really enjoy this conversation. We could make it faster, right? Like we're doing a pretty detailed summary, and then our thoughts on everything that happened. If we want to stay this detailed, I would probably prefer we do a part 2. If we want to do less detailed, I would be down to stay on. If we want to stay on and keep it detailed, I will muster some energy. But
that's why I'm asking. I like it detailed.
I don't think we need to go into so much detail because I think a lot of this was like remarking on the world building. You are
the one who goes into the most detail.
And I love it. Yeah. I'm saying I love it. I think this book is worth it. But
I think we hit most of the big events, but yeah.
I feel like you're feeling optimistic. All right, let's go through it fast. Fast but detailed.
Well, I do know that we all have very busy schedules, and so I think scheduling a part 2 and then also scheduling the next book will be a lot.
I am actually the least busy I've ever been in my life.
I am the most busy I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah. So, but I will say from a planning perspective, I'm actually much better at it now than I have ever been in my life. Nice. Especially when I've actually finished the book. The book is the issue, right?
Yeah.
But that's all I'm saying. Yeah. And aren't we reading the next book?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing for the next book.
The Rascal.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start that today. Yeah, I'm gonna start that like when I'm done with this because of how interesting this is. So that's all. Okay. If you're the busiest you've ever been, I don't want to inconvenience you.
That's the only problem is that I'm the busiest I've ever been, and so it is hard for me to carve out time, even though it's late. I've been, the last couple times just because I've just been coming to pick up.
No, it's okay.
Kinds of stuff. So yeah.
I said let's power on. What?
Yeah. Well, anyway,
let's do it.
So now he's in the academy.
And we're back.
Yeah. So he's in the academy and he's now interacting with the different houses. So you find out there's 4 major houses in Bastion. And
these are not like Harry Potter houses. These are like
no. These are like
factions, I guess.
Factions of great souls. Yeah, and they're usually sponsored by an Imperator or a Crimson Earl or Countess deeper in hell. And none of the higher ranks stay in Bastion because the quality of mana is so low it feels like they're suffocating. That's why there aren't like Imperators just hanging around Bastion, dominating everything. Which again, I thought is good world building, in my opinion.
Yes.
It provides motivation to go deeper into hell because if you want to get stronger, you literally have to go deeper into hell, or else you're gonna feel like you're drowning half the time, and no one wants that. So, yeah.
So this part's kind of like Harry Potter for a little bit, right? It's like
Yeah.
Scoria goes to classes, he meets all the professors and does the different things. There's like martial arts training class, there's like mana training class, there's like
Yeah.
history class.
And in any good progression book, not necessarily a good progression book, but in any progression book, there's always a tournament where they have
there's a good old tournament.
There's a tournament arc.
Yep.
And so Scorio participates in this tournament so that he can attract the attention of one of the houses, because turns out by taking all this poison coal mana and stuff and using that to ignite his heart and building his powers around it, he has basically fractured his heart, and he's leaking mana. So your heart, the more fractured it has, the more, when you pull mana into your heart, the faster it vents out at the same time. And so Scorio has that problem. And
yeah, so
I
he's
like
using
that. It
mana
provides,
a lot less efficiently.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I really like how that provides him further push motivation, and there's an immediacy to it, right? Like, so I do like how, like, it's not like he can be in the academy and just kind of, okay, I'm in the academy now. It's like, no. And Scorio is constantly motivated to gain power, which I really appreciate.
So the tournament, he basically has to kind of beg to get into the tournament because it's already partway done. And so what he does is he gets into the losers bracket, and all he wants to do really is, he's not trying to win it. He's just trying to kind of like make a big show. So one of the houses makes him an offer. And
That's
so he goes into a battle, and I think the first one, he just like beats the hell out of the person in like a minute. He like runs
like,
in,
punches or something.
runs up, jumps in, and then like beats them to death, basically.
Yeah.
And this is like the gauntlet. They don't actually die in real life. And then he gets the attention of House. Which one is it? Not Hydra.
Chimera, I think.
Chimera. The reason why it's important is just Hydra is the one that Praximar is affiliated with.
Yes.
Yes.
That's my only
right.
point of differentiating is that's important later. And so Chimera is like interested in him, and they do this test that shows that his heart has remarkable depth. Is that the thing that it does?
Yep.
And it's like, they talk earlier that hearts can have different things, but like depth is like the most unique and like the hardest to acquire, because it's kind of like a great soul has it or as it doesn't, right?
Yeah. So he has great depth to his heart and great reactivity to his heart.
Right. And so depth means that he has like huge potential to become one of the higher ranks. And then reactivity is what?
It's just where you start in the process, but how quickly your heart reacts to mana and how quickly it can ignite or not.
Yeah.
And so that's like, and react to your will, essentially.
And usually those two things are either or. Like, you either have depth but low reactivity because it's hard to burn a log, or you have a shallow heart but high reactivity because it's kindling and you can start it. So he has both.
Yeah. I think there's a third thing, but I don't remember what it is. Will or something, or I don't know.
I mean, how your heart is shaped.
Yeah.
Right? And so how close to a sphere it is, and how many fractures are in your heart. And so his heart is very fractured because of the cold mana.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he gets an offer from the house, and the reason he wants the offer is because he needs to heal his heart, right?
Yes.
Because the fractures are so bad, he needs these healing elixirs and pills. Otherwise, he feels like it's very unlikely that he'll be able to progress in a timely fashion.
Yeah, and can we talk about how like dick of a move it was by Soul not to like make his heart like heal the fractures? So Soul specifically tells Scorio, I returned your heart to the point that it was at before you ingested all this poison to punch Imogen, right? But he could have, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe he wasn't able to, but he could have just like healed it all the way and just like,
well, isn't he justice guy? Isn't he all about justice?
Yeah.
So he's doing what in his mind he considers fair.
Yeah, which is bullshit, because Imogen was gonna fucking kill him. Like I don't know how you can, anyway, that's fine. That's right.
I have the exact same reaction.
Yeah.
So I like Soul. I think he's fine. Fine, and Scorio's gonna be fine. Like, listen, Scorio, I don't know if Scorio is more intelligent, lucky, or no, that's it. I think it's luck.
I think one thing is that he's lucky, but he's ruthless.
He is, and
he's
very determined.
Ruthless and extremely determined. One of the things that they talk about is like one of the most important things for Red. One of the most important things for a great soul is to be very focused, determined, and ambitious. You have to be incredibly ambitious if you're going to, you know, descend through hell and rise in the rankings. And so that was one thing. But the other thing I'll say that we just briefly skipped over is that there are lockers that are in the academy, or that are in the Archspire area, basically corresponding, so people would leave things for their, you know, next lives because you don't remember anything. But you find out that you know, they're supposed to be, you can't break into them, but they are, and you totally can break into these lockers. And so people raid lockers of like famous great souls who died because they won't know any better because they're, you know, when they reincarnate. And so when they go into Scorio's locker, there's nothing in there except carved very deep in there so that it couldn't be brushed away, is Jova Spike. Is the name Jova Spike. And that's it. And she's the #1 recruit basically right now. And during this tournament arc, she ascends to Tomb Spark and wrecks her competition. And that's it.
And man, there's a lot of little things that happen that are important. So I'll try and do them. Boom, boom, boom. Jova Spark, one of the things that happens is because Scorio has a temper, at one point he makes a bet with Jova Spark and says, I will leave the academy unless I beat you in the gauntlet at the end of the year.
That's
and so when Jova becomes Tomb Spark, it's devastating because at that point, Scorio hasn't even become Emberling, I'm pretty sure.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So Scorio's like, what have I done? There's a lot of this book is Scorio putting his foot in his mouth and then miraculously figuring out a way to survive.
Yeah. And one thing to say is the higher in ranks you get a different type of power. So Emberling is when you get your first like main power. Tomb Spark is when you get access to your shroud, which is basically a shield, like a shield that you can manifest in the air that will block you from attacks.
And so for the Nightmare Lady, her Emberling thing is that she becomes the Nightmare Lady, which is like,
that's right. She becomes this monstrous thing. I keep thinking of like the Predator alien. I don't know if you guys are.
Yeah, I think of that, and I think a little bit of like a Hydra, like a mix of like a Hydra and like a Snake Lady.
I don't know why, but I picture, you know, the Pokemon, the like ultimate cat Meow, not Meow, but
Meow Persian.
No, not the one that's like the ultimate bad guy, the purple cat looking thing.
Oh, Mewtwo?
Yes. But like
Mewtwo's not a cat.
Where are you getting cat from?
He looks like a cat.
In what way?
No, he's a clone of Mew. Like? And Mew's a mouse, I think, right?
Yeah, Mew's like a mouse looking thing.
Mewtwo?
MEW2. All one word.
Yes, that thing looks like a fucking cat.
Red.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a. It's definitely.
Yeah, no,
yes.
definitely. Yeah.
Looks just like Mewtwo.
100%.
So a skeletal Mewtwo is
in other news. In other news, you know, I look remarkable. People mistake me for Brad Pitt all the time.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, that's yeah.
Right.
What?
Yeah. I mean, we basically look identical. You know, that's a.
He just said people confuse me with Brad Pitt all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so Nightmare Lady, Emberling, Mewtwo, looks just like Mewtwo, and so Scorio gets this invitation from this house, and he's like, yes, everything's great, this is the best thing ever. They go and party, have a night in the town. They kind of find out that maybe the regular people don't fucking like the Great Souls anymore because half the city was destroyed and they didn't do anything. So anyway, Scorio comes back. He's like, yeah, let's party. Everything was great. Gets called into Praximar's office. And Praximar says, hey, bro, remember that one time you stole that Sapphire Mana when you were on your own? Well, turns out Dola told him, and he's basically going to blackmail him and says, I'm going to tell the house that made this offer to you that you committed this crime because I think he stole from the house that he was recruited by.
And people died.
And turns out people died, which he didn't know at the time. And so Scorio's like, fuck. And it's basically, I'm either going to tell the house and if I tell the house, you won't be able to have enough mana. Or you have to leave the academy. Is that what it
No.
was? Or
You have to not go further than the 6th room in the gauntlet run at the end of the year.
That's right.
Right. So basically 2 shit options.
And then you would end up leaving the academy, but you'd still be House Chimera sponsored.
Right. So Scorio, classic, puts his foot in his mouth, sees that one of the guys that recruited him and is like, hey, yeah, I like stole and did all this shit. And yeah. And it's actually, I think it's really tragic. The guy is like, oh, what? Just why'd you tell us? Like, we thought it. And like we were gonna let it slide because we didn't have proof, but now that you told us, yeah, you're out, buddy. Sorry, you're out of the house.
That guy was my favorite small character in
Love
the
that
whole
guy.
series.
Love that
I
guy.
forget what his name is, but like especially when they're in the library later, and he's like, "Oh yes, I have this like delightful decades-long poetry back and forth with this like awful woman, and I'm so excited to write." I mean,
it was really cute. Yeah, I like that guy, and his voice was very. Oh yes, I am just a dawdling old man who's an academic. He's great.
Yeah.
I don't remember the guy's name, but he's great. So then Square's out of the house, and he's like, well, I'm screwed because now I can't heal my heart. And so since he can't heal his heart, this is when he goes to the ruins and grows all the plants.
He already had them.
Yeah, he already had them. He already had his Black Star farm.
This is when he goes and talks to Nox.
The Toad. Okay, so eventually he goes to the Toad. Nox, the bro.
My boy Nox.
He has a great voice in the audiobook too.
Yeah.
He talks secret marinating technique from best friend Scorio.
Yeah.
So he's a Toad.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Fiend. He's a fiend.
Yeah, but he's a
fiend
toad
in the shape of a toad. Yeah.
He's a ghost toad.
Yeah. Emperor Ghost Toad.
Emperor Ghost Toad.
Imperial.
Ghost Toad. Right. We got there eventually. So Imperial Ghost Toad, he can like marinate in mana and then absorb it or something. I didn't understand the marinating technique.
Basically, go ahead.
So when they see him, he's basically like oozing coal mana out of his body. And so Scorio is like, I want that, right? Like I need help and I've fucked up and I can't get help. So I'm going to go see if like I can absorb so much mana that it oozes out of my body and maybe that'll help me. So they go and they ask him about it, and the way that they make the deal is they look up Imperial Ghost Toads in the library and they find this book. And some guy who had documented, a bunch of fiends talks about Imperial Ghost Toads and that they mate through this ritual called Quantix. But it doesn't say anything. It's like, please see this other book specifically about Quantix, which is because this guy sat and watched like the mating ritual of Imperial Ghost Toads and documented the strategies of the like 100 most successful males. And so Scorio goes to Nox and is like, if you teach me how to ooze mana the way that you do, I will tell you the strategies of these 100 most successful male mating people.
It's basically like a cheat sheet for like mating chess.
For like, toad sex.
Toad mating rituals. Mating rituals. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, great friend Scorio, great deal.
He's like, okay. Let's do that.
Only other part we forgot, which will just be real quick. Scorio says something mean to Naomi, and then she runs away, and then she's like not in the picture. And then and then we don't need to get into it, but I actually thought some of the way Naomi's scenes and Naomi's interactions with Scorio are like really beautiful in like a dark, sad way.
Yes.
She's a really sad human, and I think they do a really good job. Just like they basically say that she had this lair at the top of the ruins and contemplated suicide, and like the way that was written was, I just think, really profound in a book about toad sex, like how it can jump back and forth between very serious things and not. And the other thing is, I just think as a character, one of the things that they really, really focus focus on a lot is how Scorio is stubborn and persistent, but he's very much impacted by his friendships. And I think they did a really beautiful job of showing how Naomi like went from trying to kill him, rob him and kill him, to like this mentor, this person who's like training him, providing guidance, and like ends up having this like incredibly wonderful friendship. But anyways, Naomi's not in the picture right now. We're doing the ghost toad marination stuff, and Scorio ends up coming back. He's making like hundreds and hundreds of plants in order to get the mana, so it's enough mana for the toad thing, for the toad marination thing. And then these big ass fiends are like eating his plants, ruining his plan effectively, ruining his last ditch effort to become Emberling.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Naomi shows up, saves the day.
Yeah.
But the plants are destroyed. And so he's like, I'm fucking screwed. And she offers him the sapphire mana vials from the beginning of the book.
Right. So full circle. She stole that, and throughout their whole friendship, she was like, no, I'm not giving back to you. No, I'm not giving back to you. And finally, there's this moment where she's like, you can have them, Scorio. And so he gets that. He does the marination thing, and he becomes Emberling. And before this...
And then cool thing... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, before this is just like an important detail we can say in a second. Leonis and...
Lianshi.
Thank you. Lianshi both had become Emberling before this. So he's the last to become Emberling. And then you want to talk about the trial?
Yeah. So I just really like, I think it's cool how when they ascend in the ranks, they get a vision of their past life on Atera, and in particular, how they're using whatever power, in most cases, how they're using whatever power. So in this case, it's basically him using his Emberling power, and actually, what I thought was really cool is that in this sort of flashback to his original life, he sees another great soul that he recognizes in their original life on Atera as well, and they're on opposing sides.
And he's in Kareth or something.
Kurgan, and so he knows that he's in Sprung Harbor, and
Spurn Harbor.
Yeah, Spurn Harbor or something like that. And so I think that if you recall his titles, he is the shadow of Spurn Harbor.
Oh,
and so he's
cool.
in that location. He's in that location in that scene, which I thought was cool.
And so his trial, basically, just another thing I thought was cool is what happens is, I guess you disappear. Do you disappear from the physical plane, or do you just? Yeah. So when you go through your trial, you just disappear, and then there's 4 doors. And then one for each trial, and then he went through the first door. And so for his trial, he's in Spurned Harbor, and basically his brother is about to be executed. Hanged. Yeah. And the short version is that they're trying to start a rebellion against the king.
Yep.
And if his brother dies, it'll like fuel the revolution. But his brother will be dead. And then if he saves his brother, it'll be harder to gain the momentum to like kick out the king. That's like the gist, right?
And they'll draw the ire of the armies, and they'll get crushed.
Right. Yeah. So he chooses to save his brother.
Yeah. You have a choice in this flashback. That's right. You have the choice of how, and it supposedly shapes how your powers will develop in this life.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that now? Because they talk about it later in the book, but like they end up having this whole discussion about like, what do the trials mean? And like, and what I thought was really cool is going with your heart versus being logical. So like an emotional response versus a logical response determines whether you have a melee or ranged ability. I think that's super cool and unique. Like I've never, it's just a really unique. And so since Scorio chose to save his brother, that's emotional, and therefore that's a melee attack. So for his Emberling form, he gets claws and shit.
and
Yes.
claws and armor.
And
he turns into like
scales,
a
yeah.
sort of like a serpent dragon-eyed type man.
But there's a really really important unintentional consequence of doing this imperial gel marinating technique thing is that like it teaches Scorio this awareness and siphoning technique with mana that nobody else knows how to do or can do. So typically the way that it works is you absorb mana from the environment, you pack your heart as full as you can, and then you ignite it and it burns off of what's in there, and that's it. Like once you run out of reserves, your heart stops burning. And so this like secret marinating technique was all about teaching him to pull mana from the outside and ignite his heart at the same time so that it's like fueling itself in a continuous cycle. And so now he can do that as an Emberling when usually that is a Pyre Lord technique.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't know that. So that's cool. Probably when I was listening to the book at 2.5 times speed. Okay, so he can do that and no one else can.
Yeah.
Okay, and so is that what he's doing later in the book when he's talking about mana? And I just was like, blah blah blah.
Probably.
Like, does he do that again in the Gauntlet? Does he do that in Trials and stuff?
It's one of the huge ways that he overcomes the fact that his heart is shattered because he's leaking a bunch of his stored mana.
But now he can just use it straight from the air, basically.
And so he kind of gains the attitude of
cool.
like, I don't care if my heart is shattered now because I've got this like cool
thing. Yeah, I can pull mana in simultaneously while I'm burning it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting too, and I think this is like kind of the point, is how many things Scorio discovers on his own and how arrogant the Academy and all these houses are and thinking we know everything when clearly he did something super unique and different with like the toad and like.
Well, yeah.
And I don't want to spoil it, but that gets to the end of the book, which I think is one of the coolest things is what he ends up doing.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a cool thing. It shows his flexibility of thinking, of like learning from a fiend who is a natural resident of hell, right? Whereas they are all interlopers. They are bringing their techniques from Matera. The toad is a natural. It has lived with mana its entire life and so forth, right? So that was really cool.
Okay, so now they're all Emberlings and they're going back to the Academy because the Gauntlet's coming. And basically he goes to Praximar and he says, hey, will you let Naomi like come back and be part of our team because she was absent for so long she could get like expelled. And he tells Praximar that he made this deal with Jova saying that if he doesn't beat her, he's going to leave the Academy. And basically, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but I think basically the deal is Praximar's like, you fucking suck. You're not going to be able to do this. Sure, you can have Naomi on your team.
There was one other thing. He said, if you let Naomi come back and we fail, we will let you spin whatever story you want to spin about our failure, and like we won't say anything. Right.
So you can just sell us down the river and we won't say anything. Yeah. And he's like, sure, no problem. You guys suck. There's no way you're going to win. Blah, 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 blah. And then I think the only other thing before the final Gauntlet run is what's his name? Kurgan, I think it is, who was the guy from Scorio's trial.
His flashback. Yeah.
He wants to know more information about his brother. So I thought this was, again, foot in his mouth, super lucky. Right? He goes to Kurgan the night before the Gauntlet and says, you got to tell me about my brother. And he's like, no. And he's like, okay, let's duel for it. And so Scorio wins, right, in this fight against Kurgan because Kurgan didn't know he was an Emberling, but he freaking breaks his wrist like the night before the tournament. And I love how his friends kind of sell him I keep saying that expression for some reason, but let him have it because they're kind of like, hey buddy, like we're on your team and you just like injured yourself the day before the tournament. Did you not like think about us? And he was like, oh, my temper.
Yeah. And Kurgan says that in his original life, it was Scorio who betrayed his brother and caused him to get executed.
Right.
Yeah, so that was like a big mental thing for Scorio, was that Corrigan's trial, or whatever you call it when you ascend to Emberling, was in disarray, not disarray, but like did not
Align. Yeah.
align, thank you, with what Scorio's trial said.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
he's struggling of like, I would never have betrayed my brother, and yeah.
And so they kind of have this discussion that's just very, you know, well, what did happen? What's the truth? What is not the truth? And they kind of throw up their hands and they're like, you know, you can think about this until the day you die, and it's not going to change anything, right? It's maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Who knows? And I don't know. Is there, because you said this is on their original life on Atera.
Yes.
Right? So there is a truth then.
In theory, but Lianchi talks about it a little, that like, because she was a prolific journaler in her past lives. And so she reads in her journals that in past lives, she made different choices during her trials. So sometimes she made the heart choice and sometimes she made the mind choice. And she's like, they can't both be true of my history of like what actually happened.
Well, this is my question, because when I was reading this, I did not realize this was about their original life on Atera. I thought this was a vision of things that have happened in past lives, or like repeated events that have happened over several iterations. So that means there is a truth.
There is a truth. There is something that happened
regardless of the trial.
Yeah.
Assuming that is correct, what they are told, that this is your original life, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we are being told, and we're assuming is true.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's my question. Do you assume that is true, or do you think
we don't know? I think that it very likely is. It's meant to be a scene from their original life, but I don't know that you don't know which version of it is true and which is not.
Right. Yeah. It's like a Schrodinger's box cat situation of like,
it's alive and it's not alive. It happened and it didn't.
Different possible combinations.
Yeah.
Only one of them is actually true.
Yeah.
Who fucking knows which one it is?
Yeah.
And then before the gauntlet, very quickly, they do talk about the past lives of Leonis, or like the trials of Leonis and the trial of Lianchi. Leonis was the son of a king. The king died. His uncle tried to take the throne, and when he was 12, he either killed the uncle or didn't kill the uncle. And he chose to kill the uncle in this iteration, and that's why he has his big bonk hammer. Neymar, what is it? I called it Neymar. Nazar. I thought that was very cool, right? Because Lianchi's like, oh, how old were you? You were 12. And I thought for sure he was going to say, yeah, I got my ass beaten or whatever. And a moment later, he's like, yeah, I killed him. Yeah, I won,
Mm-hmm.
And then Lianchi's basically, at some point, she was in a death cult, I think is what it was.
She was a nun, like a cult thing.
And she had someone else in the nunnery who was her friend, but she was Juniper was in love with her, but basically her options were they were going to run away together, I guess. And so the option was report her or run away with her.
Right.
And it was very cute. I liked how she met with that person in the academy afterwards, and that person said, like, it doesn't matter. Maybe in some instance you did betray me, but I forgive you. And I just thought that was a very kind of a
Juniper is someone who is another great soul who is in the academy at the same time, and she's actually a really highly ranked one. She's like ranked 5th or something like that. Very motivated person. So
I think that's it before the gauntlet, right? And then the gauntlet, this is basically the end of the book.
Yeah. So he goes through the gauntlet. I mean, they face all kinds of challenges, but I thought that the cool part, can I skip to closer to the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think the gauntlet is they go through challenges and then they don't make it, and then Scorio is the last one.
Scorio's the last one.
The only thing that I want to address is that, like, Naomi in the old school gauntlet, which they said was harder than the new school gauntlet, She crushed the 6th room boss by herself. 5th room boss, 6th room boss, whichever boss it was. In this gauntlet run, when there's 4 of them that are Ember Ruins, that boss fucks her up.
Yeah.
Irritated.
So I would say for like Scorio's character arc and making the book super like fun and satisfying and gratifying, I understand why they did things that they did. For the actual like, why did they do so poorly as a team? I was very confused as to why they got hurt and injured and died.
Yeah.
In a bunch of that like didn't really make sense to me.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
But I will say that the cool thing is that he gets to the end. He's the last one on his team, and he ascends to Tombspark. And
all I want to say is like how it happens. I thought was very cool.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't even mean the trial. I mean, they talk about how to become Tombspark. You need to, earlier on in the book, you need to truly accept yourself as your true version of yourself, to truly know yourself and understand. And Scorio has this super interesting revelation, and he's kind of like, where is this coming from? And he thinks about what people have said about, kind of about being a red lister, and kind of about like being how he starts saying there's so many different excuses I can make for why I didn't get a fair chance. And he's always denied his titles and being a red lister and all of this. And then he finally embraces it and says, no, I did do all those things. And that's his epiphany moment where he is his true self, is by accepting, no, I did
it's my
things.
Responsibility. I am the scourer. I am the quencher of hope and the unmaker of joy. And then boom, he ascends, becomes a Tombspark. And I thought that was a really cool thing where in his Tombspark flashback to his original life, there's this point where it's like, hey, we can show mercy to these people or we can fucking kill them. And then
no, I thought this was the one with his brother.
This is with his brother.
Oh no, that's right. So they can choose to rebel or not. I'm sorry. They can choose to rebel or not. Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I don't know what we're talking about.
So he can choose to rebel or not, and he can basically support his brother, or he can choose the more aggressive option. And he chooses the more aggressive option. But what I thought was cool was that it mentions they're specifically like people with powers. They're called legendaries. Back in Etera, like it's common vernacular to call them legendaries. And they're like, oh, this army has 4 legendaries with them. And this army has 3 legendaries.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought that was a cool little bit of world building, because obviously that term is not used anywhere else other than in the flashbacks. But in Hell, they're all just great souls, right? But back then they were called legendaries. And I guess you take this to assume that these are just people with exceptional powers, but you don't know. And it's another mystery. So, yeah.
So then he becomes a Tombspark. He now has a shroud. Sorry, I just have this chart here right now. I just want to bring up that apparently the choice for Tombspark is, it says introversion versus extroversion.
Yes.
Which is interesting. So he chose extroversion.
Yeah.
Because he's like, basically his brother is like, I'm gonna give up. Like, I'm worried that we're gonna lose, and they're kind of like, hey, Scorio, will you take up the flag to carry on the resistance or whatever? So the answer is he chose extroversion. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
And so now he's a Tombspark. He's stronger. He has a shroud. Did that decision influence anything specific with being a Tombspark that I just don't know yet?
Yeah, he got that like command aura.
Yeah.
And do we know yet what the alternative would have been? Because I think for Emberling, it was clearly melee versus ranged. Now it's just he got something and we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then now he's a Tombspark. He kind of crushes a few more chambers pretty quickly. And then I think he's in the 18th chamber, and he sees, they mentioned before this gauntlet run that you can see whoever has gotten the furthest before they die.
Mm-hmm.
If you make it to the room where the leader died, you see what happens.
And
Yes.
so he sees Jova spark.
That's right.
And so he's in a room with, I think it's 5 like executioners, I think they're called.
Yeah.
And he manages to essentially get past one more than Jova did, effectively winning the gauntlet as an individual. And so I loved this next part so much. Right after he comes out of the gauntlet, he doesn't tell his friends what happened. And you see Praximar is like, yes, everyone, yes, indeed, this is the glorious day, and let's see who won. And I guess he puts his hand on the spire, and it kind of shows him who won. And I love he's arguing with all of his colleagues, like, we can't let him win. We can't let Scorio be the one who got on top. And he almost, even before he saw the vision of Scorio, already started using terms like, we know who she is. We know she is obviously the winner. And then it comes out and they have to say it, that Scorio is the one who won it.
Well,
and
they start in like reverse, right?
Yeah, they go third place.
Third or fourth place,
Right.
and then third place, and then he gets to second place, and he says she did an amazing job, and it's Jova Spike, and the whole room freaks out because Jova was supposed to win, so
Because she was the only Tomb Spark before Scorio.
Yeah.
And then they get to Scorio, and Praxmar's such a little shit stirrer, right? So he puts on his best face and says, like, you know, he was previously a red lister. Yes, I know, a red lister, but we forgive him and we brought him back, and saying all these praises. Oh, yay, Scorio, you can get any pick you want. And when you win, when you're first in the gauntlet, because he didn't have a house, you apparently have to choose a house right then and there. And he kind of asks him, what house do you choose? And I think he says, just, will you come back to the academy next year?
It's just
No,
like,
it's like as the winner, you can choose any house you like.
Yeah.
But you know, your success doesn't mean you can't. If you misbehave, that doesn't mean that you won't get in trouble again. Blah blah
Right.
blah. That's what Praximar says to him, and then he's like,
But the expectation is like, oh, every person ever always does this,
Yeah.
right? Why would you not? You have all the resources you wanted. We give you everything.
you have the
And
choice of any house.
Scorio says, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
And
I
says-
decline to pick any house or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah.
And then
back.
and I'm not coming back. And then right after that, he's like, all right, cool. Awesome. I hate you anyway. You know,
Right,
it's
right.
like science,
You're
the deal,
dead. You're out. See ya.
whatever.
Jova, you're now
And then
number
he says,
one.
yeah, you are the rightful winner, Jova.
Right.
And again, Jova is this very famous person across hell. She was very, very recently a charnel duchess, and she had just died like a year before or 2 years before at Lastrock, fighting against a true fiend. And then she says she comes up, and then she goes, yeah, I also am not going to return next year, and I'm not joining any of the houses. And then she looks at Scoria, and she's like, hey, are you, she starts to walk out, and she's like, hey, are you coming?
Yeah.
And then
Drop the mic.
Yeah, drop
Like,
the mic, and then they
just-
both walk out.
And
Yeah.
like everyone's going crazy, like unprecedented, never happened before. Holy shit. And then this next part is super awesome, right?
Yes,
So do you have the book in front of you? Does anyone have the book in front of you?
I do. I have the
Yeah,
book in front of me.
So you finally get the reveal of I don't remember if we said this specifically, but we did say that Jova's name was carved in the vault. And so at one point, basically Scorio says, hey, can you look through your journals to see if there's anything like about me or if there's a message? And early on in the books, Jova's like, no, fuck you. You're a red lister. I hate you. Like, we're not going to do that. And I think that's where the bet was made. Like, you'll share it with me if I beat you in the gauntlet. And she's like, sure, if that ever happens. So then she says, here's what's in my journal.
Yeah, and then so you find out that 236 years ago, the last time that Scorio reincarnated, he was an infamous blood baron, came to her when she was a flame vault at Fiery Shoals, and he was being hunted, and he told her to tell his future self, Scorio, do not trust the houses, the imperators, and least of all the herdsmen. And then it goes on to say everything is a lie. Our cause, our purpose, the reason why we are bound to this hell and our way out of it. The only way to break the cycle is to become the Infernarch, which is like basically conquering the lowest layer of hell. Unless you do, the cycle shall repeat itself forever, damning us and countless innocents to this heinous masquerade. I know we can do this. Not in this lifetime. My questioning has already drawn too much attention. No doubt we shall be placed on the red list for it, but you can do it. I tried to go it alone. I failed. Don't make my mistake. You can't do this by yourself. Damn the odds. Do whatever must be done. And then so she's like, she's also talking to him about this. Neither of them know what's going on. What I thought was really cool was earlier in the book, Scorio has a history lesson on hell, and they mention like different organizations. They mention like different areas in hell, the true fiends that are deeper in hell and different, but they never mention the herdsmen. And so Imogen, earlier when Imogen is talking to Scorio, she said something to the effect of, "You defied the herdsmen," or something like that earlier in the book. And then, so that's the first time that you hear the word herdsman. And then you hear it again here. And Scorio is like, "Who's the herdsman?" And they have no idea.
I totally missed that Imogen referenced them.
Yeah,
Yes.
same. That's what I'm looking up now.
Yeah, she says, "You helped me destroy Avaskar against the herdsman's wishes."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that's the first time you hear the word herdsman. You don't know what that is.
Yeah.
We have no idea what they are or anything like that. But only that Scorio mentions this to Jova as to her previous self. Mention to his previous self. So yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So they mention it one time and then they mention it there. I love that. This is good writing. This is good writing.
Yeah, it's good writing, man. Good callbacks.
And then they're all like, the end is like, oh, we'll dance off into the sunset together.
We'll all descend deeper into hell to try and gain more power.
Well,
and so that's what they all.
Obviously,
a
they weren't
large
dancing in
group
the
of them
sunset.
too. It's like Jova, Scorio, Lianchi, Leonis, Juniper,
Zala,
Naomi.
And Naomi. And so they all leave the academy.
Who's Zala?
One of Jova's companions.
Okay, like they threw that name in there, like I was supposed to know, and I was like, I don't really remember this person.
Her a few times. So Juniper and Zala are basically Jova's Leonis and Lianchi.
Yeah, they are her retinue, entourage, her posse.
I thought her friend was like Rena or something. The one she beat in the tournament.
Ravenna is her rival. Ravenna is the number 2.
Was the
number 2 Great Soul in there.
She lost in the tournament.
That was a cool part, by the way, that she turned into a Team Spark during that fight.
During the tournament, and then Jova crushed her.
Yeah, and then she was just terrified of her.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know how I feel about having throwing rocks as a power, but that's okay.
I thought it was cool. So one thing I want to say is when this book came out, there was actually like on Reddit, a bunch of people had an issue with some of the world building of this book. Namely that because the curse exists, how does the city infrastructure work? Where do they get water from? Where do they get food from? How do you grow enough food for tens of thousands of people in this city that's decaying? Things like that. I just wanted to bring it up. They do address
they explain
it. He addresses it in the second book, and I think that
he like, oh shit?
I think that he specifically addressed this in the second book because this was such a common refrain after this book came out.
I love that.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah. I'm fairly certain that's and he probably had that in mind already, but because they do reference the method a little earlier in this book, actually. That just isn't explicitly said, and they explicitly say it in the second book.
Yeah. Does this guy Phil? What's his name? Phil Spencer? Phil Tucker? Phil Tucker. Does he pump out books like fast, or what's his deal?
Normally he does, but the next one in this series that he's working on, the fourth one, has been more problematic for him. And Pat, you probably know better than I do. I mean, Szage.
There you go.
It's all right. We'll all do it. It's fun.
It's fine. It's fine.
That he was like 80,000 words into the book, and then he just got stuck and hated it or was not happy with it and started over or needed to take a break. And so it's taking him a lot longer.
And he's writing 2 concurrent series at the same time, right? So he's also writing this Throne Hunter series
Okay, so
formerly known as Thrones of the Fallen.
here's my actual question. Am I gonna love this series and then he's gonna never finish it or die before he finishes
Oh no
it?
no. He finishes
He's not
the
like
series.
80 and like super.
No.
He's not George R. R. Martin.
He's
I
Will
think
White.
he's Will White. He
Okay,
pumps out books.
All
like,
right.
He pumps out multiple books a year.
Okay.
So I think what did we say that Bastion came out in 2021?
Yeah, it looked like 2021, 2023, 2024. Book 2, 23, and book 3 was in 24. So
yeah, and since he's also come out with all of Dawn of the Void, so he had written it on his Patreon. It was originally an Aurora Road series, but he published that series in 2023, 2024.
So he's a working boy. He puts in the work. All right.
And he's publishing Throne Hunters, which is also a big series.
Okay.
Strongly encouraged. Red has read that one, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So
if you guys are okay with it, can we finish? I mean, you guys already have, but can I finish this and we do book clubs on the next 2 before we do any other books?
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like it when we do a full series.
I agree.
This is the first book. Not that we've done a million, but this is the first book since Cradle that like has really grabbed me. And it's funny too because what was the book that we read before? That was the lit RPG that you guys were like meh about.
Oh,
Mimic and Me.
Yeah,
I liked Mimic and Me when I was reading it, and then I read this and I was like, oh, Mimic and Me sucks. Not sucks, but it's just like, oh yeah, this is a good book. This is a
really good book.
Yeah.
And wait till when you read the second one. I mean, it just accelerates.
Yeah,
it really accelerates. So yeah,
I'm excited.
It's very cool.
Then it'll be good eventually when we get to the point. Never on Sage's level. But it'd be nice to have a series where a book comes out and we read it in a timely fashion, where the 4th book of this comes out and we get excited, and then you guys read it in a day and I read it in 2 months, and that'll be fun.
I would be unsurprised if the next book came out at the end of this year, early next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're saying you think it will come out then?
I think it will come out at the end of this year, early next year, given the pace of his writing.
Okay.
We're both following him on Patreon, and he's up to chapter 20, I think, in the fourth book.
Okay.
So
and this book was 80 chapters,
80,
so probably
80 chapters. So probably and he's definitely working off an outline, right? So
he's pumping out like 2 to 3 chapters a week.
Yeah. So it's
okay. It's pretty good.
It's pretty aggressive. Yeah.
So we all love this book. This is just 2 thumbs up from everyone.
Yeah.
We don't need to. We don't
even need to do
dance,
it. It's just,
do the dance.
It's just awesome. It's awesome.
So everyone should read this book and all the other books in the series.
Anything else you want to say about it? Other than I love the world building. I just think it's so cool. So
world building was really cool. I think this book sunk its teeth into me for. Here are the reasons I really like it. I would say world building's great. I would say Scorio as a main character. I just really like his whole personality, his character. He's consistent. He makes a lot of foolish choices, but he is determined. He works his ass off. I really like that. And I think the magic system in this is really cool. I think the action is good, not necessarily my favorite part, but I really like the dynamics between characters. Has some good villains. I like Praximars. I do not like him. I want him to just fail and suffer. And I'm always here for a good conspiracy theory.
The whole
this is not what you think it is.
The whole premise that you're here is a lie. I just think that's like bombshell at the end.
Right.
So,
and that usually gets me pretty easy. I guess my only complaint is slow start, and that like I could see a lot of people telling a lot of people, hey, read this book, and if they're not avid readers like you guys, like I trust you guys, so you tell me to read a book, it's great, I'll do it. But I could see a lot of people starting this and being like, and then I forgot my other thing. So great book.
Yeah.
Great book.
Wow. Okay.
Awesome.
Let's well, thanks everyone. This was Reading Books with Friends, a podcast. Next book we're reading is, what's it called?
The Raskor Plains.
The Raskor Plains. So Great Souls
Book number 2. Immortal Great Souls Book 2.
Immortal Great Souls Book 2, and we'll figure out a date and plan it. All right. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.